The universe is vast, cruel, and breathtaking, sometimes all at once. And in that infinite blackness, where stars are born and empires crumble, one girl floated, abandoned by her own kind. They called her defective. Unworthy. Not worth saving. But the moment a human laid eyes on her, everything changed. "I found her," he whispered into the calm, breath fogging up the inside of his cracked helmet. "And I'm not leaving her behind." It wasn't supposed to happen this way. The alien species known as the Thalari prided themselves on perfection. Tall, silver-skinned, cold as the vacuum they ruled. To them, Elora was a glitch, born with a spinal flaw slightly shorter, a heartbeat too soft, empathy too high. Traits they called shameful. Traits they tried to erase. They placed her on a derelict moon station. No medical supplies. No company. No future. Until Captain Daniel Voss crashed his ship nearby. He wasn't a hero. Just a scavenger pilot running low on oxygen and time. Earth had long been banned from Thalari territories, but desperation didn't ask for permission. He never expected to find another life inside that decaying outpost, let alone someone who stared at him with wide, glowing eyes and said, almost apologetically, "Are you real? Or just the hallucination before death?" Daniel's voice cracked. "I'm real, and I think you're the one who's not supposed to be here." Elora had been taught humans were monsters, loud, emotional, violent. But this one, he looked broken. Just like her. He tried to leave. Told himself not to interfere. But something about the girl, trembling under emergency lights, wrapped in a tattered thermal blanket, and still trying to offer him water, made walking away feel like betrayal. "You're not supposed to be here," he repeated. "And you sure as hell weren't meant to die alone." The station's power died 2 hours later. They survived the cold by huddling close, sharing stories between fits of shivering. Elora asked questions humans hadn't heard in centuries. Do your people believe in dreams? Do they still look at stars with hope instead of conquest? Daniel answered honestly. Most of us do. And some of us fight to keep that alive. Even if it's just one spark at a time. She didn't trust easily, but her smile came quicker the next day. She limped less. Spoke more. Laughed once. And that laugh, it shook something loose in him. He fixed the ship. Took longer than expected. Gave him more time to know her. To realize she'd never been defective, just different. Curious. Gentle. Brave. And so damn alone. The Thalari never came looking. When the ship was ready, she hesitated. "They'll kill you for taking me." "Then let 'em try," Daniel replied. "You're coming with me." She blinked. "Why?" His reply was simple but unshakable. "Because you matter. Because no one wanted you. But I do." They launched into the stars with half a fuel cell and an outlawed signal signature. The Thalari detected them within hours. Ships closed in. Daniel kept flying. "You should have left me," she whispered. He grinned, even as the warning lights screamed. "Not a chance. You're mine now." The first blast rocked the back thrusters. The ship groaned, metal straining under pressure. Elora curled beside him, tears escaping in zero gravity. "They'll destroy us." Daniel tightened his grip on the controls. "Then we make him work for it." He rerouted power. Engage stealth mode. Dove into a plasma storm that could fry every wire in the ship. Because he wasn't giving up. Not on her. Not now. And just when it seemed like all hope would burn out with the last of the fuel, something happened. A beacon lit up on their console. Federation class. Human. This is Commander Rivas of the Terran Unity Fleet. We've got you in visual. Engage docking clamp. You're safe now. Daniel laughed for the first time in days. Elora couldn't speak. Just wept into his chest as the docking arm latched on and pulled them from death. But safety wouldn't last. Not when the Thalari declared her a fugitive. Not when they sent assassins after her. Not when Daniel stood before the Terran Council and said the words that would spark a galactic incident. She stays. With me. You want to throw me in prison? Fine. But no one touches her. She's not property. She's not defective. She's Elora. And I love her. Silence. Then chaos. And that's how one broken human and one abandoned alien girl lit a fire the galaxy couldn't ignore. To be continued. Elora stood silently in the Terran courtroom, overwhelmed by the gravity of it all. The polished black stone beneath her bare feet, the glowing banners of 100 Earth nations flickering above her, and rows of grim-faced human delegates seated in judgment. It was too much for someone once cast aside like garbage. She leaned closer to Daniel. "This is too big. I'm not meant for this." Daniel shook his head gently. You're meant for more than any of them can see. Just hold on. I've got you. The tribunal had been summoned not just for her, but because of what she represented. An alien from a hostile species, now being sheltered, claimed by a human pilot. A political storm swirled around them, but neither Elora nor Daniel had any interest in politics. For them, it was simple: survival, connection, and the stubborn fire of love in a universe that tried to crush it. Commander Rivas stood up, voice calm but sharp. The Thalari have issued formal demands. They want the girl returned immediately. Murmurs. Shifting in chairs. Elora shrank. But Daniel stood, arms crossed. She's not a girl to them. She's a failed experiment. Trash. They abandoned her. And now that she's found sanctuary, they want to erase her. Again, Rivas sighed. And you admit to crossing Thalari borders illegally? I admit to saving a life. If that's a crime, fine. Jail me. But she stays. Someone in the back clapped. Then another. Soon, half the room was on its feet, not because they understood, yet, but because of the conviction in his voice. In his heart, a decision was deferred. As always in politics, emotion needed to wait for paperwork. But the message had been planted, and it began to spread. News feeds exploded across the core systems. Footage of Elora's thin frame beside a defiant Earth pilot went viral. Hashtags bloomed. Hashtag she stays, hashtag not defective, hashtag love beyond stars. The Thalari were furious. Elora remained at Unity Command under heavy security. But she wasn't safe. Not really. The first assassination attempt came just 4 days later. Daniel was in the medical wing when he saw the flicker of movement, a shape that didn't belong. No shadow should glide like that. He burst into her room just in time. The assassin, a Thalari wraithcast, had already drawn its side-blade. Elora stood cornered, eyes wide but unblinking. Daniel didn't think, he moved. The blade slashed his side before he tackled the creature, punching, screaming, biting through pain. Alarms blared. Marines rushed in. The assassin was dead within 30 seconds. Daniel collapsed next to Elora, blood pooling fast. You okay? He gasped. She gripped his face with shaking hands. Don't you dare die now. Not after everything. His smile was weak but genuine. Told you you're mine. Still true. He passed out. Elora didn't leave his side for days. They gave her access to his hospital room after the attack. Maybe out of guilt. Maybe because the council knew, deep down, they couldn't keep them apart anymore. Daniel's recovery was slow, marked by stubbornness and sarcasm. The moment he could sit up, he made her laugh again. But the danger didn't pass. One night, Elora asked, if they never stop hunting us, if we have to keep running, would you regret it? Daniel reached for her hand. I'd regret nothing except not trying. You made me feel again. You gave me purpose. So let them come. We'll survive together. Or not at all. A week later, a bold plan emerged. The Terran Council had intercepted Thalari communications about a new facility. One where they were perfecting their breeding programs, creating emotionless elites. Children with no names. No freedom. Just programming. Elora's voice cracked as she listened. They're doing to them what they tried with me. Daniel's jaw clenched. Then we stopped them. It's suicide. We've danced with death before. One more round won't kill us. He proposed a strike. Not to the military, who'd never approve it, but to a rogue group known as the Kindled, Terran rebels, hackers, and ex-soldiers who lived by one creed. Protect the innocent, no matter the species. Their leader, a grizzled woman with one bionic arm and sharp green eyes, stared at Elora. You're the girl who lit the match. We've been waiting for someone like you. Elora blinked. Me? I'm not a leader. No, the woman said. You're something more dangerous. You're proof that love works. That's what terrifies them. The plan was set. Infiltrate the breeding facility, free the children, expose the horror to the galaxy. Elora insisted on going. Daniel tried to stop her. You don't need to risk yourself. You've already done enough. She stood firm. No. You gave me a second chance. I'm going to give it to them. He nodded, tears burning but proud. Then we go together. The journey to the Thalari core system was perilous. Smuggled in through asteroid belts and decoy ships. Every hour could be their last. But the closer they got, the stronger they became, together. Not soldier and survivor. Not human and alien. But one force. One spark of rebellion. One chance to rewrite fate. And as the black towers of the Thalari facility loomed ahead, Elora whispered what once would have been impossible. Let them see me now. Let them know what they threw away. To be continued. The air was heavy with silence. No alarms, no sirens. Just the dull hum of lights flickering over the facility's cruel architecture. Inside, rows of capsules lined the walls, each holding a child no older than 6, floating in artificial sleep, wired for programming. Elora's hands trembled as she moved among them. They never had names, she whispered. Just numbers. Like I did. Daniel stayed close, phaser drawn, watching the shadows. The Kindled's infiltration had gone mostly to plan. Guards neutralized, security disabled. But they knew the real danger wasn't brute force. It was the legacy of apathy. Generations of silence. One of the rebels called out, core reactors rigged. 10 minutes. We need to extract and vanish. Elora hesitated. Then she placed a hand on the glass of a capsule labeled X. 117. You're not a number, she murmured. You're a story, and I'm going to help you write it. With swift, careful movements, she activated the emergency overrides. The capsule hissed open. A boy blinked up at her, dazed. Hair silver, eyes violet, like hers had been. Are you my trainer? He asked in a robotic tone. She knelt, eyes brimming. No, I'm your friend, and you're free now. Others followed. One by one, she and the team opened the pods. Children stumbled out into the world for the first time, fragile, confused, but alive. The facility began to groan as the timer counted down. 5 minutes, someone shouted. They moved fast, loading the children into evac shuttles. Daniel took the last one's hand, a girl with mismatched eyes and a burned scar over her temple. We're going to a place where no one tells you who to be, he promised. You'll figure that out on your own. With time. And love. Explosions rocked the far wing. The countdown hit 90 seconds. Daniel looked at Elora. We need to go. Now. But she didn't move. She turned to face the central tower, the place where she knew the control logs were stored. Data. Proof. Stories the galaxy needed to see. You go, she said. I need 5 more minutes. Elora, we don't have 5 minutes. Then buy me some. Daniel cursed but didn't argue. He knew better. He just leaned in, kissed her forehead, and whispered, Come back to me. She ran. The logs were encrypted, ancient, and cruel. Names of other children erased. Test subjects. Failures. Histories buried beneath digital ice. Elora inserted a data spike and started the download. You deserve to be remembered, she said. All of you. The final minute ticked down. Red lights flashed. Metal groaned. Fire crackled behind the walls. She raced out, clutching the drive. The hallway collapsed just behind her. Daniel screamed when she didn't appear at the hangar bay. But just as the hatch began to close, a small figure sprinted through the smoke, coughing, bleeding, but alive. He grabbed her, pulled her inside, and the shuttle blasted away. The facility erupted into fire and silence. Weeks later, the files were broadcast across galactic channels. The truth couldn't be denied. The Thalari were condemned. Systems once neutral rallied behind the Terran unity. Safe havens opened. Sanctuary planets were formed. Children, survivors, the forgotten, they all found places to belong. Elora stood on a new world now. Lush, green, and alive. Her silver hair brushed by wind as children ran around her. Laughing. Shouting. Dreaming. One of the girls tugged at her hand. Teacher Elora, tell us the story again. About the man who came from the stars. Elora smiled. Daniel, fixing solar panels nearby, looked up and winked. He wasn't from the stars, Elora said. He was from Earth. And he found me when no one else would. He saw something broken and called it beautiful. The girl asked, And then you loved him? Elora nodded. Yes. And he loved me first. The children giggled and scattered. Daniel came over, arm wrapping around her waist. You make me sound too good. You make me feel too much, she whispered. They looked out at the horizon. Peaceful. Earned. Built from the ashes of cruelty. Do you regret anything? He asked. She shook her head. Only that we didn't meet sooner. They kissed. Above them, stars shimmered. Moral asterisk in a galaxy where perfection was prized and compassion discarded, it was love, simple, stubborn, human love, that redefined what strength meant. Sometimes, it only takes one person to believe in you for the entire universe to start seeing you differently. And that belief can change not just lives, but entire worlds. The galaxy didn't need more heroes. It needed more people who refused to look away. People like Daniel. People like Elora. Together, They proved no one is ever truly unwanted.